Hey everybody, Dr. Greco here. Welcome to Ministry in a Minute. So we've been talking this week about potential conversations that could come up when we are actually leading people to Christ. And last week we talked about witnessing and testifying. The goal of witnessing, speaking to lost people about Jesus, is that we might spark a conversation that leads to us helping them accept Jesus. And when we enter into these serious conversations about finding Jesus, there are often difficulties that people have based on their experience in the world. We said creation is one, and we said a real understanding of our sin nature is another. But here's the third one. People often will doubt the historical accuracy of the scriptures and of Jesus. I've actually had people say to me, well, Jesus wasn't a real person. The world is actually teaching people that all of the Bible is fiction. And so there are some apologetics that we need to know. An apology in Greek, the word apologia, simply means to defend. It's what a lawyer does. We should be able to simply and briefly defend our faith. Now, if people have big arguments, you're probably not going to be able to convince them. You're not going to argue anyone into the kingdom. You're not going to argue anyone to salvation. But we need to know the basics. Our Bible that we have is backed up by credible, factual, historical facts. Okay, we have other authors who weren't Christians, who were Jews and Romans, who wrote in their own writings and confirmed the writings of the Bible. We have Bibles that are hundreds of years older than Jesus that we know the Old Testament hasn't changed. Some people will say, oh, those prophecies about Jesus were added in, when we know they weren't. At least not any more than 200 years before Jesus. And then that leads to, if the Bible is true, then the prophecy that we have in this Bible, which is proven true, can be trusted. And all of the things that said that Jesus would be born and how and when and where, all of those came true in Christ. And so there's a lot of historical, credible historical evidence that what we believe is true. And sometimes if we share that with people, the idea that it's actual history is enough to convince people who are wondering, who are being tempted by the devil on one side and called by God on the other. It's enough to remind them that the truth will set them free. We'll see you tomorrow for another Ministry in a Minute.